We're gonna give you the best core exercises for athletes, and we're gonna start right now. So what does a core do? We have to think about it controls our center of mass, right? It can control if we're playing tennis or baseball. If we're trying to apply force into the planet, it's gonna help transfer that energy up through your body and into that object. If you're a shot putter, think about pushing down into the ground and then that energy gets transferred into the actual shot. So we can also look at core-based training through isolation and also through compound movement. So an isolation exercise might be doing an ab roller. A compound movement might be a little bit more dynamic. So dynamic trunk control. So we would be doing something like a snatch if we're looking to train our core through dynamic movements. And if we're trying to isolate that and not do a compound dynamic movement, we again would be doing V-ups or even sliding abs, something like that, where we're in a plank position. So we know that the core is gonna help us with acceleration. We know it's gonna help with dynamic trunk control so we can cut better. And we also know that we can train it through isolation and through compound movements, and how athletes respond is very dependent upon their sport and genetic predisposition. So my favorite way to train people who have a weak core is to do a zombie squat. So you could do a 2 or 3 rep zombie squat, and then you're gonna follow that up with the ab roller for sets of 17. So you have the dynamic effort, the compound movement with the zombie squat, and then that isolation movement in the ab wheel. So I'm gonna give you 2 of my favorite exercises that are gonna help with your unilateral with your unidirectional speed, okay? And this is gonna carry over to training your trunk drastically. As I just showed, I was not being active in my trunk and fell over. So the first thing is a split lunge here, boom, into a Russian lunge, fast, okay? And we wanna be nice and quick and hold that posture. And the big thing here is our shoulders, our trunk, our abs, our core are gonna be lined up with our hips. And that's when we're gonna see tremendous carryover to dynamic trunk control when our core and our hips are firing together. That next exercise, this is gonna be challenging, a swinging RDL with our hydro weight, okay? So we have our hydro weight. It's available at garagestrengthequipment.com. You can pick that up today. We're here, we just come up. And you'll feel this in your oblique, and you wanna focus on even staying firm as I'm falling over through your foot, into your hamstring and into your core. This is a movement that we had Sam Mattis do for weeks leading into his monstrous PR where he was the number 4 ranked discus thrower in the entire world. He did swinging RDLs that helped him become more stable and more balanced, and in turn, I believe that helped trigger that big response in the circle. Okay, so the next way that we want to focus on training core-based exercises for athletes is to get into rotational work. So who's rotational work gonna help, right? We know that rotational work is gonna help fighters. We know rotational work is even gonna help baseball players, cricketers, batsmen in cricket, right? We also know that it will help offensive linemen. It's basically gonna help every athlete out there. Think about shot putters. So if we're gonna train rotational work, we can train this a little bit more aggressively because the rotation will transfer really well if it's done at the speed of contraction or the speed of action in that specific sport. So that first one that I love, you're gonna need a medicine ball that's a little bit harder shelled, okay? Or a partner or a wall that you're gonna throw it into. And what you do, you're gonna do a side jump and then a throw. So we're here, boom. Okay, so that's a quick reaction, and you go and you plant and drive all the way forward. And the cool part about doing it with a medicine ball throw is that you can put a marker out there, you can play games, you have a partner or a wall, you can see how far it bounces back, and that's gonna elicit a little bit greater response from your athletes. Now that takes us into our next rotational exercise, and that's gonna be a power elastic rotational punch. So we can be here, rotate, punch, and have a slow eccentric. Rotate, punch, slow eccentric. We can also go a little bit longer and rotate a little bit faster, okay? So you can do these exercises by picking up our power elastic band at garagestrengthequipment.com, but you can also use any other band that you want, but focus on speed, slow eccentric, or rapid rotation with that. Okay, so the most advanced exercise that you're gonna be able to do for your rotational strength, for your rotational core-based movements, is going to be with our hydro weight. This is a hydro weight tornado. So this is extremely hard. You're gonna go here, and you wanna do both sides, okay? So your plant leg, you would switch then, you go here, boom, boom, boom. And what this is gonna do, this is gonna drastically help you cut. It's gonna help you produce a ton of force from the ground into your opposition if you're a wrestler, into an object if you're a baseball pitcher, or if you're even a batsman in cricket like I had mentioned. So this is an extremely advanced exercise, and if you don't have our hydro weight, you can also use a plate. Let us know in the comments down below, or tag us on Instagram if you think you're able to do that hydro weight tornado. Okay, so what day should you be using core exercises in your overall training? That week will be based off of day 1 being leg power development, day 2 is gonna be upper power development, day 3 is gonna be athlete day, day 4 is gonna be impulse day. So usually what we do is we will take individuals and we'll say, okay, let's use some dynamic trunk control movements, let's use some more advanced exercises and put that onto their athlete day. Then if we have somebody who has any physical imbalances, or they have some issues using their core, or their core is just horribly weak, we're gonna use contrast method, okay? So if we're gonna use the contrast method, that's gonna be when we use it on day 4, the impulse day. And that's when, again, we're using compound movements with isolation movements, and it's gonna help with overall coordination inside of the core. So if you wanna continue becoming more athletic and improving your overall core and performance as an athlete, make sure that you like, you subscribe, and you ring that notification bell so you can keep making those core gains. So we went over how the trunk plays into dynamic trunk control. Then we talked about contrast methods, using full body dynamic movements with isolation exercises. We even gave you our favorite tools that we like to use and the specific days that you can train the core within your periodization. If you guys need help on a daily basis, you want more exercise ideas, make sure that you follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and you even subscribe to our new YouTube channel, Peak Strength. And if you want more ideas on how to lay out your overall periodization, you can pick up the Sports Performance Bible. It's a book and course that you can click on the link down below in the description. Head over to garagestrength.com so that you can learn more about our overarching training system. Remember, if you guys want to be freaks, you've always got to cultivate your power. Peace.